Hi, Jim Carson from Blackstock Ford Lincoln in Orangeville, Ontario. And today, it's the 2018 Mustang, but with a little bit different twist. I'm going to have a look at it from the order guide perspective. That's the Canadian order guide and pricing, and giving you some suggestions on what you can look forward to. Let's check it out. You know, in 2017, at Blackstock Ford, we had a lot of success with our Mustang Venom package, featuring supercharged Mustangs up to 727 horsepower. And it was a great success and a fantastic car. But oh my gosh, Ford Motor Company, the car's even better for 2018. And you think it's tough for you as a customer, what about us for a dealer having to decide how we're going to order 50, 100 Mustangs, whatever it is? It's going to be a challenge because Ford in 2018 has just done a great job with new options and improvements. Let's go over them. Okay, last year for the Venom package, very similar to the car behind me, one of the cars we focused on was a 300A with one option, the GT Performance package. Nothing's changed there. We're doing that again in 2018 for the model year. And then we think come spring we'll be coming to market with the Ford Performance Supercharger, this time full warranty at 700 horsepower. The Ford Performance Supercharger does not void your factory powertrain warranty when a Ford dealer installs it. We're going to be offering that, and we think this car behind me with 700 horsepower is going to be price pointed at about $55,000 at 0% financing. Great value, right? Now, here's the tough part. What if you want to add an exhaust? Well, the exhaust is going to cost you anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 depending on the brand, and then you're not going to have the active exhaust system such as Ford is now offering from the factory. What does that mean? Well, it's only a $1,000 option. That's tough to compete with. That is really tough to compete with. The new active exhaust is going to give you the ability to have a quiet mode. So if you're choosing the new automatic, more on that in a moment, you can hit your remote start, fires up in quiet mode when it's backed against your garage, you're not disturbing your neighbors. One flick of the switch, away you go, you've got it in normal. One more, you've got track mode, and you've got a really great aggressive sound out of those new quad tips that I'm sure you've seen. So that button, well, it's not that toggle switch only comes in the 301A, so you cannot get the active exhaust until you go to the 301A. So what does 301A cost? Well, it's $2,600, but you get some great features in it. So if you look at it this way, if you spend the $2,600 for the 301A and you get sync and you get the automatic temperature control, like an electronic climate control, and those toggle switches to toggle through the modes, the ambient lighting I don't think is really neither here nor there. It's no big deal to me. Some of you may like that. But those are the hard ones of that 301A package. And once you get that, that opens up the door to being able to add that active exhaust. So if you look at it this way, yes, that 301A is $2,600. But if exhaust is in your budget, and last year you would have spent, say, $2,000 for a Borla exhaust, well, this year you're really only going to look at the active exhaust from Ford. I mean, let's face it, it's going to be very hard to beat that system. And that's only $1,000. So I would encourage you to look at it this way, that the 301A is really only going to cost you $1,500 when you subtract that difference in exhaust cost. And for that, you're going to be getting the toggle switch control, which of course is great. And you need to have that one quick switch, and you can change the mode. And also we'll change the mode for track and for sport and snow and ice driving conditions for the ABS and traction control. Changes the whole drive mode for suspension mode if you get up for the optional Magna Ride, etc. You also get Sync 3. Once you have Sync 3, that opens it up. You have the modem, then you have Ford Pass. With Ford Pass, you can remote start your vehicle if you choose the automatic transmission, for example, check where you parked your vehicle, all host of features. So great value to go to that 301A. It looks to me that in 2018, that 301A with active exhaust and the Magna Ride suspension and the Ford GT Performance package is going to be the car. It's going to be a great car. We'll talk a little bit more of those features of the Magna Ride in a second. Okay, transmissions. Lots of great videos out there on the automatic transmission. I'm sure you've seen it. Wickedly fast shifts. I think this is probably the first time in my memory that I'm not going to be embarrassed to say I drive an automatic GT. In fact, for me, I think it's going to be my preference. Those paddle shifts, that quick snap shift when it's in sport mode, you can get that chirp out of the rear rubber through 3 gears. Fantastically quick, and is going to out-accelerate the manual transmission. But for those of you that just really love that stick, and I get that, I've been that way for a long time, great improvements for the 2018 clutch. A twin disc clutch and a dual mass flywheel, 15% less effort on the pedal. What that's going to, that new technology, what that'll translate to you as a driver is zero vibration or transfer of torque shudder through the clutch pedal. It's going to make shifts more accurate and quicker. And when you're really on that throttle and getting on it, it's going to handle the torque that, say, the aftermarket Supercharger is going to be able to put through there. So great improvements on the manual transmission as well. The other thing is that's getting a lot of attention is that 12-inch LCD screen. Cool feature, no doubt. But you've got to go all the way up to a 401A to get that, and you do get a whole host of other options included. So, you know, that you've got to really assess if that's where you want to go. If you want a full-on, really what should be considered a luxury sports coupe with all kinds of power and handling characteristics that the Mustang's famous for, that's a great package to go with. But it's the only way you're going to get that 12-inch LCD screen. So for us, our team has been meeting. We've been talking about what we're doing for Venom in 18, and we're definitely coming out with a Venom. We've got some surprises coming. We've got some, as always, some great competitive advantages with some of the features we think we're going to bring. We'll leave those for some point as we get closer to the spring. But as the base car, as the donor chassis, I think we've got to take a very strong look at providing value to you, our customers, in this 300A with the GT Performance package. Yes, we'll have those. But that 301A with the MagneRide suspension and the active exhaust, we're probably looking at somewhere at least a 50-50 stocking ratio with the automatic transmission now. Remember in 17, another change to 18, kind of flying under the radar, is you could not get the GT Performance package last year with automatic transmission. This year you can. The only difference is the ratio of the rear axle. They're both Torsen limited slip, which I believe is just the absolute key to that package, along with the 6-piston Brembo brakes. But the 3-5-5 ratio with the automatic, hey, you got 10 speeds. It's a perfect setup. It's really, really well tuned, and I think that's going to be successful. Some of the options that are not such a good deal. Careful on the over-the-top stripes. If you haven't seen them or checked them out, it's not like what you're used to with the dual rally stripes. It's one wide stripe, say about 10 inches, with a little gap and a smaller, say, 1.25 wide stripe beside it. You might like it. We're not a big fan of it. Blacked out roof for $850. Hey, we can do vinyl on that roof. We're going to stay away from that. That blackout roof feature is not available with the GT Performance package anyway. So neither is the blackout edition. So we'll be back with what we did last year. I think we'll have the black emblems, the 5-liter emblems, the black horse. We think that looks better on the GT Performance package. Not sure why the factory doesn't do that, our opinion. The blackout roof, if you want that, well, it's a lot less expensive really to do it in vinyl, and then you've always got that ability to change your mind later. So we're going to stay away from that factory option. But other than that, the job that Ford has done for 2018, just fantastic, and really giving you value that we can't compete with. That the active exhaust at $1,000 must have, got to be in a 301A for that. The MagneRide suspension, there's no way we're going to put anything in either from Ford Performance or aftermarket that's going to compete with that. We'll still have that ability to do so, of course, if the vehicle doesn't come with it, but really, I think they've sucked us all in. We're going to have to bump, 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 and go at least a 301A, GT Performance package, active exhaust, and the MagneRide suspension. And I think you got a great, great car there, great value. And then the Ford Performance Supercharger. For 2018, as I mentioned, as long as the Ford dealer installs it, you have full warranty. What great value, and the ability to be able to finance that in your 0%. Man, it's a really compelling value. So we're excited. So stay tuned. Lots more to come. We'll be talking about the 2018 Venom as we get closer and closer to spring. And as I said before, we got some surprises installed, some things we're working on. We've been down to the SEMA show. We've picked out some great new products, and looking forward to it. Once again, I'm Jim Carson from Blackstock Ford Lincoln. You do drive us to be different, and I appreciate you watching.